Republican Party candidate of 1892 was Benjamin Harrison. He supported tariffs, especially the McKinley Tariff of 1890, which put a 48% tax on all imports. The Republican Party was interested in the global economy and was pro-business. He also believed in bimetallism, which meant the use of silver and gold currency. He also believed in a strong federal government. Opposing them was the Democratic Party led by Grover Cleveland. He supported lower tariffs and state government. He also supported the gold standard and was opposed to the federal welfare programs and the actions of the billion-dollar Congress. The first populist party we see is the People's Party. They really wanted silver. They believed people could get loans easier. They believed that the monetary supply would expand. They also wanted the public ownership of transportation systems and utilities like railroads, electricity, telegraphs, and telephones. They also wanted to abolish the National Bank. They wanted the direct election of United States senators. They also supported graduated income tax, also known as a progressive tax system, and they sympathized with worker unions. The other populist party is the Social Laborist Party, which share a lot of the same interests as the People's Party, such as the public ownership and communication of transportation, communication, and utilities. They were antitrust and anti-monopoly. They wanted a graduated income tax. They wanted the direct vote on all public elections. But the Social Laborist Party also wanted less working hours, school and education of all children under the age of 14 to be mandatory, and the universal and equal rights of suffrage for men and women of any race. Now we will look at a video from the History Channel from the series The Men Who Built America.
As the country approaches the 1896 presidential election, America's poor are desperate and without hope. One man seized the opportunity to harness their anger, and in the process, propel himself to the White House. William Jennings Bryan. Bryan runs on a ticket promising equality for all, vowing to be a voice for the poor, and to take the fight to the country's elite.
The Democratic candidate of 1896 was William Jennings Bryan. He was a populist, he was endorsed by the Populist Party, and they didn't even have another candidate that year. He was the Democratic candidate for 1896, 1900, and 1908. One of his big things was bimetallism, especially in 1896. He gives off his Cross of Gold speech. He gets very popular, and he also has other populist interests like the control of the railroad systems. He also is against the national banks. He also believes in prohibition as well. Opposing him for the Republican Party is William McKinley, who supports the gold standard, and he ends up winning. And next year, in the election of 1900, we see McKinley versus Bryan too. Bryan is much of the same thing. He doesn't get as much support for his bimetallism. But McKinley has more populist ideas, like the more effective restrictions on cheap foreign labor, more education opportunities for working children in the form of public education. He supports raising the age limit for child labor and liability insurance for workers taken out by businesses. So McKinley is shot, and then his vice president, Teddy Roosevelt, takes over. And Teddy Roosevelt likes to hammer down at those trusts and monopolies. He also passes multiple progressive laws, such as the Pure Food and Drug Law, the Child Labor Law of the District of Columbia, and the Widow's Pension Bill. In the next election, you have William Howard Taft running, and he supports lowering tariffs, the postal saving bank system, which is another populist idea, which involves the post office department authorizing to receive savings deposits from individuals and pay interest of 2%. He used the antitrust law to break up trusts and monopolies. He supported an 8-hour workday and he was also in favor of establishing a Bureau of Mines. Overall, the Populist Party really influenced the two main parties of the United States of America.